Welcome to the board special call board meeting. Let's go ahead and open with a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Our first order of business tonight will be declaration of relative certification of board members. I will go down the road and have each board member identify whether they do or do not have a relative within the Crossroads Montgomery County School System. District 1, Ms. Berry.
Yes, I'm resident of Clarkson, Montgomery County.
Do you have a relative in the school district?
I do not.
Ms. Pace.
I'm resident, but I do not have a relative.
Okay. I am District 3, Mr. Nelson, and I do have a daughter-in-law who is in the Clarkson Montgomery County School System. Mr. Patterson?
Yes, I'm Charlie Patterson. I have a daughter in the school system, Clarkson Montgomery County School System, and I'm declaring that I have a relative as defined by TCA 49-2-202 who the Clarkson Montgomery County School System employs. I am certified that the vote I'm about to cast is in the best interest of Clarkson Montgomery County School System.
Thank you. Mr. Back?
Yes, Joshua Baggett. I am declaring that I have a relative as defined by TCA 49-2-202 whom Clarkson Montgomery County School System employs. I am certifying that the vote I'm about to cast is in the best interest of Clarkson Montgomery County School System.
Thank you, Mr. Baggett. Mr. Griffin?
Yeah, I'm Ken Griffey, board member representative District 4. I do have a relative, I have a wife that is employed by the Montgomery County School System. But I am also going to certify that the vote that I'm about to cast is in the best interest of the system.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin.
My name is Jimmy Garland, and I'm the representative of District 5 CMCSS. I do not have a relative or member of the family currently working for the school system.
Thank you, Mr. Garland. And let me also be in order here. I'm Herbert Nelson. I am declaring that I have a relative as defined by TCA 49-2-202 whom Clarkson Montgomery County School System employs. I am certifying that the vote I am about to cast is in the best interest of Clarkson Montgomery County School System. And we are set in order with that business. Next, we'll put on the point of slide.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I'd like to call Anthony Johnson up this evening to give our Point of Pride Awards. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Good evening, board. I'm back again this month, and I'm proud to present several points of pride this evening that our outstanding students and faculty have earned for both state and national awards and recognitions. First, we will begin by honoring our National History Day state-level student winners. National History Day is a year-long education program for students in grades 6 through 12 that engages both educators and students to improve the teaching and learning of history in public, private, and home schools. Students who participate have shown dramatic improvements in research techniques, writing skills, historical knowledge, creativity, literacy, communication, civic engagement, and college readiness. Our first honoree is Carlos Amador from Kenwood Middle. Carlos, please come forward. Along with any of your teachers or administrators who are here with you today. All right, so Carlos won 3rd place in the state junior division in the research paper category for his scholarly work. Congratulations, Carlos. Congratulations again, Carlos. Next, if I could have Dominique Kusa. Did I say that right? I probably did. No, sir. Could you pronounce it? Do you mind pronouncing that for me?
Dominic Kakusa, sir.
Kukusa. All right, perfect. Dominic Kukusa. And then we have Jeremy Clare and Nathan Harder and Braden Jackson. If you come forward. This group of young historians won third place at the state competition in the junior division in the group live performance category. Congratulations, team. All right, next, please come forward, Riley Malote. And I probably didn't pronounce that right either, so I'll need a correction. Is Riley here? Malat? Is it Malat?
Yes.
All right, Riley Malat. And any teachers or administrators who are here with you today, you come forward. Riley won first place in the state junior division for research on the topic of the fight for Hetchy Valley and the debate that began the modern conservation movement. Congratulations, Riley. All right, staying on the topic of National History Day and at Richview Middle, if Miss Tabitha Wilson could please come forward along with your principal. Miss Wilson, a teacher at Richview Middle School, has been nominated in the junior division of the National History Day National Contest. Every nominee for the $10,000 award is a teacher who demonstrates a commitment to engaging students in historical learning through innovative use of primary sources, implementation of active learning strategies to foster historical thinking skills, and participation in the National History Day contest. All nominees receive $500 as a result of their nominations. According to the National History Day Executive Director, this award recognizes the very best educators from across the nation and beyond. These educators are leaders and innovators in the teaching of history, and we are all the more impressed because of the extended, difficult teaching circumstances during the last year. Congratulations, Ms. Wilson. We're going to go just slightly out of order, board members. We're going to wait, and Cadet Sergeant Major Casella is on her way here. She had another activity, so we're going to skip right over. If Miss Kara Kendall could come forward. If she's not here, she was going to be here, and I know she had another concert to attend, but I'll go ahead and read this honor. She was going to be here in representing all 58 of our talented, dedicated, and inspiring music educators. For the 7th year in a row, CMCSS has been honored with the Best Communities for Music Education designation from the National Association of Music Merchants, or NAM. The Best Communities for Music Education designation is awarded to districts that demonstrate outstanding achievement in efforts to provide music access and education for all students. CMCSS is one of only 9 districts in the state of Tennessee recognized. To qualify for Best Communities designation, CMCSS was evaluated on its funding, graduation requirements, music class participation, instruction time, facilities, support for the music program, and community music maker programs. We want to thank our wonderful music teachers who educate and empower our students to reach their potential in music every day. And although I didn't include on here, I always want to thank our board and the district for supporting the fact that we have full-time music educators in all of our schools, which is not something that occurs across the state of Tennessee. Kara has just shown, right, like a true musician, right on time, right on cue. So Kara, if you would come forward on behalf of the music educators to receive this award, and thank you to all of our music educators. And I think our next person is not able to be here either, but if I could have Dr. Mary Gist on behalf of the Instruction and Curriculum Department to come forward. Emily isn't here yet. And Dr. Gist is going to be representing all over 2,600 of our teachers and curriculum instruction support employees who have earned the Tennessee Department of Education's Reading 360 District Designation. CMCSS has received the Reading 360 distinction and banner from the Department of Education for our educators completing over 60 hours of intensive training and participating in 2 literacy networks in efforts to tackle the national literacy crisis and improve literacy right here in Clarkson-Montgomery County. According to national data, across the U.S., over 40% of adults are functionally illiterate, 65% of fourth graders read below grade level, and only around 40% of students graduate high school at or above reading level. Reading 360 is the state of Tennessee's investment of around $100 million to provide districts, teachers, and families with tools and resources to help students read on grade level by 3rd grade. I want to thank you to all of our teachers in the Instruction and Curriculum Department for your hard work. And I know the entire community appreciates the dedication of our teachers to continuously improve their practices to educate and empower our students. So thank you to all of our teachers. All right, we're going to go back because I think Cadet Sergeant Major is here. So if I could have Cadet Sergeant Major Rachel Casella, her JROTC instructor Major Braun, and any admin representatives from Rossview High School, please come forward. Cadet Sergeant Major Rachel Casella was selected as the Tennessee Sons of the American Revolution State Cadet of the Year for winning the TNNSAR JROTC Enhanced Program Essay Contest. Casella will be awarded with an invitation to be the guest of the Society at the annual state conference luncheon, a check for $1,500, and the Chapter Outstanding Cadet of the Year medal set. Her essay and recommendations have now been forwarded to the National Committee for the national competition, which we're all rooting for you. So congratulations and good luck, Cadet Sergeant Major Casella. All right, and finally, if Mr. Patrick Miller and any admin representatives that are here with you today could come forward. Mr. Miller is the Assistant Athletic Director at Northeast Middle School. He received the 2022 National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association State Award of Merit. This annual award is provided by the NIAAA to an athletic administrator from each state for recognition of meritorious dedication to high school and middle school athletics. An athletic administrator and NIAAA member for 5 years, Miller is in his 3rd year as Assistant Athletic Director at Northeast Middle School. He serves on the TIAAA board, is the State Conference Director, and is an NIAAA State Faculty member. He currently serves as the NIAAA by being a member of the Awards Committee and a National Faculty Instructor for Leadership Training course. Congratulations, Mr. Miller. That concludes my point of prize for this evening, but I am excited. I'll be back in May, and we already have a ton on the slate, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And once again, let's give our point of pride winners a hand. So, tonight on the consent agenda is the CMCSS. I'm sorry, let's give them a minute to go ahead and put it over to me. So tonight on the consent agenda is the CMCSS 2022-2023 proposed consolidated budget in accordance with TCA section 49-7-202. Any board member let's read this. Do we have a motion to accept?
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Do we have a second? We have Ms. Pace, the second. Any discussion?
The discussion I want to make is, I really appreciate Chris's efforts and the time that he took to sit down individually to go over the budget so that there could be an understanding of a line item. And I really meant a lot to him. And I think he did that with each, give the opportunity to each board.
And I have to second that because he went over that with me and it took a little extra time with me, but he did an outstanding job. So let's go ahead and put it to a vote. All in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please signify by raising your hand. And that motion passes 7-0. Next on the agenda, Dr. Huff.
Yes, sir. The first item on the agenda is the executive order from April 12, 2022, request to overspend child nutrition fund to pay for additional costs for food supplies to be reflected in fall year 21-22 budget amendment. And Mr. Renaud is here to answer any questions if there are any regarding that item.
Any questions from the board? Do we have a motion to accept EL 5? Mr. Garland, do we have a second? Ms. Berry, seconds. Discussion? Do we have any? There being none, let's put it to a vote. All in favor of accepting EL 5 as presented, signify by raising your hand. And I have 7-0. Number 2?
Yes, sir. Number 2 is goal number 7, increase employees' awareness of the effects of absenteeism. And we have with us this evening Ms. Janine Johnson, our Chief Human Resources Officer, as well as Dr. Erica Christmas, our HR Coordinator. Ms. Johnson.
Good evening, Dr. Huff. Good evening, board members. I appreciate the time that you're giving us to talk about a very important goal. And I'm going to start off the presentation, and then Dr. Christmas will follow. So this is the goal of increasing employees' awareness of the effects of absenteeism. This is a 2-year journey. You may remember we discussed this last year. So a little bit more information about why we're discussing it for a second year. In the 2019-2020, we started to notice our absentee rates were increasing. There was a pattern that we were concerned about. So we began to consider some attendance incentives for our schools to create ways to incentivize improved attendance. And then our plans were interrupted by COVID. So March of 2020, everything changed. So then in 2021, the world of education began shifting across the nation, and our previous ideas related to attendance initiatives became dated and very ineffective immediately. We suddenly entered into the world of remote learning and teleworking and Zoom. So everything changed from what we were doing the previous year. We did hope in 2021 that we would be able to have some more stability in regards to attendance and our patterns, but that did not, the baseline was not there. So then we began to discuss initiatives for this current school year, 21-22. So as we look at 21-22, which is, of course, we know, rapidly approaching to the end of the school year, there are definitely some interesting things here. The challenges of this school year have impacted our decision-making in regards to attendance initiatives. For human resources, there is always a delicate balance of being understanding and supportive of absenteeism and also holding our employees accountable. Again, like I said, it is a very delicate balance. Persisting challenges include emerging variants of COVID. Last year at this time, we didn't expect to experience what we did this last year. So we all know there were different variants of COVID that continue to make gathering baseline data very difficult and unpredictable with the different spikes within the community. And of course, as our students integrated back into the classroom setting, many lost the routine of school schedules and their learning was interrupted. This has presented different challenges with managing the extra stress for our employees, families, and our students, as well as navigating the result of the pandemic together. For employees in all departments of our district, we are covering for our colleagues. And we indicated here teachers and district level employees, and I do want to include that, in not just district level, but all employees in the schools we're covering for each other. So I don't think there's one employee that did not feel the impact of helping out one of their coworkers. So that's very important to notice that. And again, very dedicated employees. We're very fortunate to have the employees that we have as a district. Over 5,000 employees have pitched in this last year. As leaders in HR, we have made the decision to be sensitive to how much we push attendance concerns and initiatives. We know how much of a difference our employees make every day, but how we focus and what we emphasize on is very important right now. So again, our employees represent our community, and we know that the last 2 years have presented many personal and professional challenges. We understand and respect how our employees feel, the challenges they face in today's social climate, and the fact that the landscape of education has changed. So now I'm going to ask Dr. Christmas to share some of the data and some of the additional ideas that we have regarding attendance. But a lot of this is going to be some interesting data for you to review on what we handled this last year. And I say we, I mean all of our employees.
For the purpose of this brief data review, I want to be clear that these numbers are comparisons for August through March of the last 3 years. The absence data reflected here is inclusive of employees at the school level who require a substitute when they are absent. So this group includes teachers, special population aides, and our teacher residents. We hoped this school year would provide some stability to begin building on baseline data. As we review this data together, please do keep a few things in mind. When looking at comparisons to previous years, you can see that the number of absences related to personal leave or a leave of absence are returning to pre-COVID or better yet, pre-remote learning, with sick leave continuing to rise. Compared to the last 2 years, we've seen an increase in sick leave. While we are seeing improvement on a day-to-day basis, what's now included in the total that is different from last year reflects leave taken when there are not options to telework and when district-wide remote learning did not take place. Having said that, absences for this previous month, March 2022, were 11% lower, and we are on track for April to show a 20% decrease in total absences over last April. This is hopefully the start to a very positive trend for us. This chart provides a visual of our COVID leave data for this year by month. The numbers represent all employees with the district and not just those who require a sub like the slide before. So this is all district employees. Overall, our COVID leave is down 30% over last year, but certain months, as you can see, were very challenging for us to navigate. We saw a significant drop in leave after September, but then we spiked hard again in January, coming after the winter break, and there's also a direct correlation to the spread of the new Omicron variant. We made it through that rough month, and we've trended down significantly in February, March, and to date here in April, which has provided a great relief to our schools. As for our substitute program, our ESSER and grant-funded permanent substitutes have been an incredible asset to our schools, despite our sub-pool remaining critically low. In 2019 to 2020, we began with 8 permanent subs as part of the general budget to combat higher absence totals. The following year, we were able to grow this number to 10, also funded with our general budget. These individuals were responsible for rotating through a cluster of 4 schools on a quarterly basis. However, once ESSER 2.0 funds were released, we were able to provide this valuable resource to all schools in the district. To date, we have 56 permanent substitutes in the district funded through ESSER and other grant funding. Our permanent substitutes contribute 18 to 20% of the fill rate you see for this school year in the chart. As sick leave declines this month, we've seen our fill rates back in the 90% area again. This reminds us of pre-COVID coverage for our teachers throughout the district. To increase our regular sub pool, we are continuing to offer a bonus incentive to substitutes who work on higher absence days and work 3 or more days a week. This year, we provided professional development opportunities to our substitutes on staff development days. Next year, we will increase their opportunities for professional development in classroom management strategies and in developing teaching skills. We have also added a budget request to increase their hourly pay from $11 starting to $12 starting for the next school year, and we believe that this will help not only with recruitment, but for retention. As Janine mentioned previously, we are sensitive to the topic of attendance, and we want to promote resources to increase awareness while also being very supportive of our employees through this challenging time. As funding has allowed, we have added to our permanent substitute employee group, as I've gone over a couple of times now. Can't you tell I'm passionate about that group of our classified employees? This has provided peace of mind, consistency, and helped to cover absences of teachers with someone who's familiar with the school community because he or she is a part of it every single day. We provide ways for principals to view reports through our absence management system so that they can make informed building level decisions. In HR, we provide assistance through our substitute program representatives and through quick reference guides to help them navigate the absence management system so that they can locate reports to use to identify those trends. This year, our Student Services Department offered student and staff attendance grants. To qualify for consideration, schools submitted a grant application to explain their plans to increase enthusiasm and promote regular attendance. They had 15 applications submitted for this grant. So just to kind of highlight a few of things about where we will go from here. This summer, we are going to transition our absence management system to a program with a catchy title called Red Rover. This system is a more robust, intuitive, and user-friendly program to track attendance and the work of our substitutes. This program is fully customizable to our district's needs. This program has support teams that are highly responsive, and they regularly update features and will meet with us on a monthly basis to demo and walk through those. This program will also provide a cost savings to the district over the program that we've been using for the last few years. Our steps also include continuing attendance incentives and school staffing support, such as those permanent substitutes, as our budget will allow. We want to continue to be mindful of opportunities to fund support to our schools so they can continue to focus on being about serving our students with excellence. With ESSER funding, we've added a more comprehensive employee assistance program under the leadership of our new employee relations specialist. The focus of this role is to support our employees in ways that equip them to deal with challenges that promote effective personal and professional outcomes. We will also have a new position within our substitute program provided by ESSER funds that we will call a substitute teacher coach. Our substitute teacher coach, modeled after an academic coach in our schools, will assist with professional development, training, observation of our permanent substitutes and our regular substitutes. The purpose of this position is to train and equip our substitutes to be effective educators for when our teachers need to be away from their classes. It's important that student learning continues, and we recognize that for this to occur, we need to provide more resources and training to grow our program with quality individuals. Do you have any questions that we can answer for you?
I have a comment. The fact that the employees are covering for one another, that shows a spirit of accord in the system. But the question that I have is that, those 56 people that was funded by ESSER, do we have a process, Dr. Huff or anyone, that we may be able to keep them on board once ESSER is gone?
For this next school year, they are going to be covered by the ELC grant, and then next year we will start looking at hopefully placing them into the GP. But it is, we could possibly have one more year that we could try for ESSER 3.0. But we're very focused on this group because they are making a huge impact and a huge difference in the schools.
And so, and they knew when they signed on that this would be temporary, however, also shared with them that we are looking for ways to have it continue.
I know that the Red Rover system is robust, intuitive, and user-friendly, but what does it do to
Doesn't that sound?
prevent absenteeism in the system?
Yeah, it is a program that, when I say it's more robust and intuitive, it's user-friendly, it's going to help at the school level with our front office folks who are placing substitutes. It is something that is a more engaging user interface that,
It's not
yeah.
gonna necessarily stop the absenteeism, it's gonna help manage it better.
Yes, it's an absence management system.
And any other question back to the response back on their absenteeism numbers by year that included, if I remember correctly, that chart included teachers only? What was that?
This is everyone who
I know this
is
is,
eligible
but-
for
But
substitute.
you had one that was teachers only, if I'm not mistaken, about 3 slides back. I don't remember where, I don't have it in front of me, but, it was a bar chart of absenteeisms. Oh, yeah,
all
this is it. You brought it
employees?
back. Yeah, this is
Okay.
it. Do these, I would look at my screen, I didn't need to change it. The sick leave in different portions, the numbers are higher, of course, but so is employee rate. What are they in percentage wise as far as our absenteeism rate compared to those years? Because there's a drastic difference in, in 21 to 22 school year, and 19 and 20 school year is also a drastic number in the amount of employees we have. So what is the percentage rate of absenteeism?
Yes, so the percentage rate is actually not significantly higher given the increase of
Okay,
employees.
that was what I wanted to know. So it's not a higher percentage, it's just because of more employees, we have more absentees.
Yes.
And you mentioned covering classrooms and because of shortage of stuff, and stuff like that, isn't there a certain amount of supervisors doing that also from central office? I'm sure there are.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they are.
That's all my questions.
I know recently there's been perks and initiatives extended to retired teachers to return to the classroom. Have you seen any results in the substituting or retired
Yes.
teachers? Yeah.
Yes, we have. So, we have had an increased number of retirees this year, and some that elected to retire before the end of the school year. And so as the substitute program became aware of those individuals who maybe wanted to step back but not out, we have encouraged them to come on and be a substitute with us. And so it's 4 or 5 individuals, so we're not talking a huge percentage of our retirees. But that is certainly, we'll take everybody we can get, and we did identify that early, that is a shame that that's providing another vacancy of a teaching position in our district. However, we can keep them engaged with the district by providing them an opportunity to sub.
Every little bit helps. So.
That's right.
Thank you.
With the permanent subs that you have, is there a difference in pay based on education?
There is not a difference in pay based on education, but there is a difference in pay, and then of course they are eligible for benefits over being a regular substitute.
Any other board questions? Do we have a motion to accept the EL3?
That concludes our report. I thank you, Ms. Johnson, and thank you, Dr. Christmas.
CMCEA and PET representatives?
We do have some.
I want to thank you, excuse me, it's great to see CMCEA back on the agenda after a long hiatus. And we, CMCEA, appreciates the restoration of this avenue of communication so we can speak directly with you about issues as well as great things that are going on in the district that our members experience. Tonight, I would like to bring back what was a long standing tradition of past CMCEA presidents when we were bargaining. And that is to introduce the board to the collaborative conferencing team. You see their names annually when you approve the memorandum of understanding, and CMCEA is proud to have been elected by certified employees to represent them in collaborative conferencing. All of our members could not be here tonight, but I will introduce you to who is here. We have Melissa Lindsay and Chris Gerald, our co-chairs. We have Dr. Kamiko Thomas and Emily Clay. Jarita Reese is on the team. She is pursuing an advanced degree, so she is in class tonight. Stephanie Outlaw has had an unfortunate death with a family member, and she, of course, understandably could not be with us. And Dr. Tanisha Taylor is on a family outing, and we do promote time with family as educators. But again, as the president of CMCEA, this is wonderful, and thank you very much that we now again have this opportunity.
Well, thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you. And, okay, and also we have the PET representative.
I hope I'm speaking loudly enough. I tell my students if I have to raise my voice, it's too late. Good evening, board members and Dr. Huff. Thank you again for the opportunity to share with you how Professional Educators of Tennessee has been working with parents, students, and educators across the district and the state throughout the school year. This has certainly been a challenging year as the district has dealt with providing our schools with quality educators, resources, and addressing the issues of stress and discipline across our elementary, middle, and high schools. We appreciate the immediate communication responses received when teachers have voiced concerns about specific issues. Our monthly check-ins with Dr. Imperatrice, Dr. Huff, and Janine Johnson have been quite productive in answering questions and inquiries. Accurate and timely communication is crucial for teachers, as it is for any organization. Understanding the why and how gives us goals in which to work toward for success. Our main objective is to provide students and teachers with the support they need for academic success. One of the most important ways we provide the support is by working with our legislators. During this legislative session, we helped craft 34 bills. Several of these bills passed, and it is likely the legislature will declare sine die as of this week, and I will update those past bills that we were very instrumental in getting passed in May. As the TISA bill will likely pass, we have had serious reservations about its specific funding and did not support its passing as is. Just today, an analysis by the Tennessean found by changing the way money is divided, nearly 2/3 of school districts, although receiving more in actual dollars, are receiving a lower percentage of state funds than under the previous formula. This is because of how the state created the new formula and how it takes into account how much local governments can contribute on their own. It also does not address the major issue of making sure state dollars earmarked for teacher salaries end up going into teacher salaries. Those were our main concerns. However, our goal is to continue to work with the legislature next session to ensure the funding revisions for what is best for our school district and districts across the state. Although we were unsuccessful in passing the teacher assault bill sponsored by State Representative Jay Reedy, we will revisit this bill in the coming session. We must all work together to address the continuing assaults on educators and provide safety in our schools. In closing, I would like to invite board members and Dr. Huff to attend our annual education conference called Leader U, June 7th, to be held at MTSU. This conference brings the best of the best across the state, providing educators with quality professional development. This conference is open to all who want to continue honing their skills as educators in the classrooms. So please visit our website and sign up for Leader U. Making a difference in a child's life is the greatest gift any of us can give. We know that by working together, we are shaping the next generation. Thank you, Mr. Griffey and the board, for the opportunity to share information about Professional Educators of Tennessee. As state president and as local president, I appreciate you having us bring back and make our comments at the end of each session. Thank you.
Board members and comments. I'm sorry. County commissioners, I apologize for that.
We don't have anything to say tonight, thank you.
Just one
Yes, sir.
question. I have on my calendar that school board meeting will be on the 3rd of May. Is that correct?
Should be the second.
2nd of May.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Board members, any comments? I would like to make one. Right now, some of you may or may not know, my family's actually suffered a tragedy, and I want to thank Mr. Patterson for stepping in at the last meeting for me. As a family, we're still trying to wrap our heads around what's happened, but Mr. Patterson, thank you for stepping in and just filling those shoes and making it happen and continuing on with the board's business. And we'll move on to the director's report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I do have a couple of items. Board members, in front of you is a hard copy of the Clarksville Montgomery County Stepping into the Future Community Report. You may recall that I did send this report to you electronically. But earlier this week, Dr. Sikorsky, Dr. Imperatrice, Mr. Anthony Johnson, and myself met with the Harwood Institute, who put all this together, and it was a very good meeting. Many of the revelations that are listed inside this booklet were not a surprise to us, but I wanted to share with you, board members, that we are committed to using this information as we plan moving forward. And so I wanted to make sure that you had a hard copy as well as your electronic copy. So that's what's in front of you. Additionally, I wanted to share that I know most people in the community are aware of the assault on Ms. Clark at Glen Ellen Elementary School last week. I have to admit that in almost 38 years in public education, I cannot ever recall a parent physically assaulting an employee. Let me be clear, no student or employee should ever have to go to school or work in fear of their personal safety. We've had comments from parents throughout this school year about students and their safety, and so I want to be clear that that is not the expectation, that students or families or employees should fear that. This year we have received growing concerns and feedback from all stakeholders about the increasing level of incivility, disrespect, anger, and violence of both students and adults. We have shared messages about these concerns with our community throughout the year. But we know words alone cannot solve the problems. There are headlines about this crisis from across the nation, and we are at a critical point to address this in our own community. We continuously reinforce kindness, nonviolence, and all social and emotional learning skills in our schools. We have revisited our safety, discipline, and investigatory policies and practices with school administrators. And I want to share a few of the other steps we are taking to address these issues. Number one, I have called a meeting with our law enforcement officials for this week to discuss opportunities to improve our current mitigation, de-escalation, and response practices. Additionally, I want to ensure that we partner with law enforcement to help all stakeholders know their rights if they've been a victim of an assault. Over the coming weeks and before we start the 22-23 school year, we will have additional policies, training, and support to address the violence. We appreciate the strong collaboration with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office and Clarksville Police Department, and together we will remain committed to improving safety and security in our schools. Next week, you will hear a presentation from our Instruction and Curriculum Department on the proposed changes to the Student Code of Conduct. Because of federal and state privacy laws, I know it can be frustrating when victims and their parents can't know the school-based consequences for a student offender. However, as a district, we have listened to stakeholders and reviewed feedback over the past several months, and we will be proposing changes to the Student Code of Conduct based on our community input and changes to state and federal laws. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, in the 22-23 budget, we have proposed additional social workers, counselors, and psychologists, as well as additional support for alternative school and other student support programs as we address these challenging behaviors. So what I know in my soul is that we are stronger and better when we all work together. So I am looking forward personally to what we can accomplish as Clarksville, Montgomery County, and as a school system as we do this together. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. And before we adjourn, I have just one other item. Schedule has been set for interviews for our search for director of schools. And it's as follows. You may want to jot these down. Interviews are scheduled on some dates listed up here. As indicated at the last board meeting, all interviews will follow the same schedule each day. Board interviews are from 4:30 to 6 p.m., followed by a 15-minute break, and then an admin/teacher/staff question and answer session. The first one we have is going to be on Tuesday, May 3rd, and that will be Dr. Huff, Dr. Angela Huff. The next interview will be on Wednesday, May 4th, and that will be Mason Bellamy. Following that, on May 5th, Jean Luna Vedder. And following that will be, on the 6th, will be Dr. Sean Imperatrice. And that's the current schedule. All right, and with that, we are adjourned. Thank you for your time.